What you're about to experience are my opinions and truths. I'm suggesting they're possibilities for you to consider, in which you can then come up with your own logical conclusions. Good day or evening to everyone out there in the decoding world. My name is Logan, and this is Decode Your Reality, and today we're going to be breaking down and decoding Down in a Hole. And of course, it's featuring the band Alice in Chains, the song instrumental version playing in the background. And of course, it's included in this presentation, and of course the beginning of this presentation, the intro, had the hourglass with the sands running down, indicating time, and of course that infinity shape which the hourglass shape makes. And if you've watched my Decode on Architect of the Universe, you can clearly see where all this fits in, and this is kind of an extension of that, to where the white rabbit, follow the white rabbit that Neo was told to do, holding the clock, time, Father Time. And then, of course, Alice following that rabbit. And I feel like, the song that was written by Jerry Cantrell and Down in a Hole, he says, bury me softly in this womb. Sands rain down and here I sit, holding rare flowers in a tomb. And that's why I had put Alice here, because when she falls down the hole, she falls down into Wonderland and she starts to run out of time. And that's kind of a story, but then there's the reality of our lives and the time that we're faced up against, Father Time. And the story goes, if you go research Down in a Hole, the song, Jerry Cantrell, who wrote the song, had said that he wrote it for his then girlfriend, Courtney Clark. And she's going to be included in this presentation. And just once again to show, and here she is right here. This is the only information I could find. Her birthday, her name, where she was from. But here I am going to be showing once again that man is being used. And musicians, of course, are no exception to this. And they're just telling their story, and it's somehow that whatever created this reality, it has its hands in everything. And the stories that are being expressed by these musicians and artists are just telling you kind of how our reality seems to be working. And we've all gone down the hole into Wonderland. If you haven't seen my Decode on Alice in Wonderland, I'm going to suggest you check that out. So here we go, folks. The topics of conversation during this presentation. In the zero position, the intro. And I have a little bit of an intro for you to follow the story of this song, Down in a Hole. Number 1, the duality hole. Number 2, the box of time. Number 3, we're going to be breaking down Alice in Chains. Number 4, their album Dirt, where the song Down in a Hole came off of. Number 5, Follow the Rabbit. Number 6, of course, the song was written about Courtney Clark, Jerry Cantrell's then girlfriend. Number 7, we're going to break down Jerry himself. Number 8, Columbia. And number 9, I always love to hear what you see as the observer. Even all of you haters out there that come to my page and you watch my videos and then you go and you start. It's so funny, folks. I have people that actually go to other people's pages and they start commenting, telling me that I'm a fake and I'm a fraud and all this kind of stuff. And then they're like, yeah, and they know that I changed my voice. Because, folks, I got a microphone. That's why my voice has changed a little bit, you know? But the only way that you would know that, those of you that are leaving those comments, you know who you are. You're coming to my page and watching my videos. And if I was such a fake and a fraud, you wouldn't be sitting there watching my videos. It's just so funny. You haters out there, man. It's crazy. Anyways, it's not about the haters, but that's all good because it's energy nonetheless. So here it is, folks, the story of life. Down in a hole, the duality. I love this version here, like, you know, going down in the hole and then going down into duality. And it's a story. It's a story. These are all stories. This is down in the hole and the story is inside the hole. Everything's contained going down into the cube, into the box, which I've shown in my Architect of the Universe presentation. Notice story in numerology is a 17, just like the word life. So this is the story of life. And what's fascinating is it's a direct match of the actual title of this presentation, Down in a Hole. So you see, we go down in the hole called Wonderland, if you want to use the Alice in Wonderland story, and it's the story of life. It's our lives, and they're all stories. And we go down that hole. And as Jerry Cantrell sang in that song, or actually Lane Stanley did, but Jerry Cantrell wrote, he said, I'm losing my soul. And what's fascinating is, see, losing my soul is a 46, excuse me, and this is the original spelling of the tree of life in Hebrew, where it actually came about, which is right here, folks. The tree of life, if you go type the tree of life biblical, it's right here. Whoops, it's not the Tiberian, but here is the actual full spelling of that. And you're going to have tree there and then the life. And this is where it comes from. And it's fascinating because that's a 46, matching that of the words, losing my soul. So we literally, I mean, is the story saying we lose our soul going down into physical matter called life? And then we go down and we're ruled over by the God of time. The God of time is what runs our reality. Whatever your rendition or version of that is, whatever you believe that to be, we're using numbers and math, and that's what we're going to be doing throughout this entire presentation, as I always do, to support what I'm seeing. So you have the God of time, and the word that I'm looking at here is time, because we all have a selected amount of time. So the God runs time, and it's this card right here, because remember, this is the 47 through the English. Time equals 47, and this is the 47th card in the deck of the playing cards, the cards of illumination. I found that from this. Here is the cards all in numerical sequence: hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. And the 8 spades card is the 47th card in the deck. Now remember that the 8 is the infinity symbol. The 8 is the infinity symbol, and of course, it's just 2 zeros put together. One is black and one is white. And the spade suit means earth. Now, some of you may not side with that, but spades is the last suit, and it points upward. Hearts points downwards, these just a complete opposite. And this is kind of an author's rendition I found off of DeviantArt. And it's tied to this spade. And the 47th card is linked to time. Down in a hole of time. So what about the God? God is 26. We're going to get into that. In the Chaldean, the God of time is 57. Notice God and time both equal the number 14. So does the word Satan. But it's a 57. And what's fascinating, folks, is when you get into the tarot cards start to tell their own story with symbols and visualizations and pictures. And this is the 8 of Swords. And the 8 of Swords is the cousin of the 8 of Spades. Spades are swords. This came first, the tarot came second. But of course, as fate would have it, everything's fixed and rigged. This is the 57th card in the deck of tarot cards. And the god of time in the Chaldean is 57. The god of time in the English is the 47. Here it is. Time is 47. And then we have the 47th card. So we go down into time, and this card right here, folks, means trapped and limited. That's what this card means. It means trapped and limited, amongst other things. But notice the symbology clear. You're blindfolded, and the swords means earth. That's why they're pierced into the earth. And this is a direct match of the god of time in Chaldean. And that's what we do. We go down into time, folks. We go down into duality. And when we go a step further, notice that the god of time is 127 as a total, and that's a prime number. The 31st prime number. Excuse me, the 31st prime number. Now, why that 31 is important? Because you see, that's pi. Pi is 3. We know it is 3.14, but it's 3.1 in its most balanced expressions, and we are going to be syncretizing this entire presentation. That's what we're doing. And my great friend Santos Bonacci, he's all about syncretism. But notice it's a 31 in the Chaldean numerology, which is pi, because everything's contained inside that circle. And that circle is in the cube, and we're going to get into that. So it's all a matter of time, folks, going down into time, being born into time. As soon as you pop out into the world from the womb, your clock starts to tick. I mean, pretty much when you start to be born inside the womb, your clock starts to tick. But when you pop out into the womb, your clock is moving. It's ticking. And a typical clock has 12 hours on it, and that's directly tied to the hangman. This is the 12th card. So you have 12 hours on a clock, and then you have the 12th card in the tarot called the hangman. And notice the symbology on this card. It's, of course, the card of surrendering, because you're hung upside down. And we live in the upside down world, which is why this card is so fitting in the tarot. We go down in the hole and we're hung upside down. But of course, we do have illumination, excuse me, down there. But we must surrender because we have no choice. We are now faced with running against that clock and time. And we face death because this is the 13th card. So we have card 12 and we have card 13. So we literally have to surrender, and we must die that death going from the soul to physical matter in this story and presentation. Of course, the death card is 13. 13 is the mirror of the 31, and that's pi, folks. So we die into pi. And what's fascinating is you go a step further. Here's card 14, so we're going in sequence. This is the Temperance card. It's the 14th card, and notice that it's 3.14, and there is the 14. So we must have duality. This is obviously a expression of duality. It's going back and forth to both the ego and spirit. That's what this card is representing, amongst other things. The symbology, it's got 1 foot in the water, 1 foot out, from one world into the next. So many pieces of symbology. But this is the 14th card, which is a direct match of the first 2 numbers as we go down into pi, into the whole. And so there it is, folks. We go down into the whole of pi, into Wonderland, which is why the black and white was all over the Alice in Wonderland story, which is why the chessboard has 64 squares and they're black and white. We're all playing the game of chess. And man's being used. We're an experiment like rats in a cage, folks. How much free will do we have? I don't know. Here's the actual clock in the measurements of a 24-hour day. So the 12 goes into the 24. What's absolutely fascinating about this 24-hour clock is it gets into our chromosomes And then we get into that number 33, because the 24, and I've shown this, is the number 33, which is linked to the 33 steps in Masonry, the Christ crucifixion, age 33, the 33 vertebrae in our spines, and it's linked to this number 24. 24 and 25, which make up our X and Y chromosomes, but it starts at the 24th decimal digit in the string of pi. So we descend down, we become physical matter. And the 24th card in the tarot is the Three of Wands. And this card is all about setting things in motion, launching long-term plans. And that's exactly what we'd have to do when we get down to hell, to earth, inside the cube. And the Three of Wands is tied to the Three of Clubs, because wands in the tarot came from the club suit. Wands means clubs. The Three Clubs card, folks, is the 16th card in the deck. And what's absolutely mind-blowing about this, folks, is the word hell equals the number 16. So let me backtrack again. So we started off with the X chromosomes in the 33, the 24-hour clock, going down into duality with the X and Y chromosomes, and the 33 steps going down into physical matter, and we land on this card at the very bottom, launching our long-term plans, literally having to go and to navigate through life. And that's Three of Wands is the Three of Clubs, which is the 16th card. And this 16th card is a match of the word hell, where we sit in this game of life. This game of life that has a lot of suffering to it. And what's absolutely fascinating even further with this, folks, we then get into this element right here called sulfur. And sulfur has an atomic weight, it's most abundant, of 31.972. What is 31? 3.1. It's pi. And then, sulfur's abbreviation is S. This is the sine wave. You get into trigonometry, you're going to get into sine and cosine waves, which are the makeup of pi itself. And when you measure pi and you start to get in and add both the right and left sides of the decimal, sulfur is 31.972. When you add it up, you get 1003. And that's once again a link to the death card and, of course, 3.1, which is pi. Just it's a mirror of that. Again, going back to hell, going back to the Three Clubs, Three Wands, and our chromosomes. Keep in mind, this card right here is the card of Thomas John Ellis, who played Lucifer in the Netflix show. Same with Jerry Bruckheimer. His card is also the Three Clubs. Played Thomas, Lucifer, who is supposed to be running hell. So, there's no coincidences, no accidents. It's all scripted. It's all part of the story. And you're seeing it in its fullest expression using all these layers from the mystical arts and science. So we go down the hole, sulfur, pi. We land in through death, and we get into the hole of pi in the cube. And, let's keep going on the story, folks. You see, we end up getting into fear, because when you get down to earth, fear sets in. You have the two emotions, love and fear. Love is 21, fear is 16. 16, again, is a match of the 16th element, sulfur, which is a match of hell. Sulfur is very violent, the element itself. But it's matched to this word right there, and it's a match to this word right there. And you see sulfur, when you do the numerology of that, it's a 28, which is a direct match of the word Lucifer. And that's a direct match of the word 16. 16 is a 28. So you have 16 is a 28 through numerology, which is a match of Lucifer equaling 28, which is a match of sulfur equaling 28. And it all comes back to this word fear and this element right here called sulfur, which has an atomic weight of 31, which is pi. 3.1. And there it is right there when you add up the two sides of sulfur. Isn't that fascinating? Totally mind-blowing to me that all these link up like that. Keep in mind the word Pluto equals the number 28, and Pluto is Hades, the god of the underworld, who runs hell, which is called Earth, folks. Here's the 16th card in the tarot. The Tower. It's a direct masculine energy, and it's a very violent, it's a very violent card. The top gets blown off. People jump out, and when you look down this tube, kind of reminds you of this tower right there. Going down. Going down. The Tower card, 16. And then, I was supposed to come out with this video on Christmas Day, which was yesterday. So my apologies of those of you that were waiting for it. I just had to add so much more information, and I got too much to handle, and I couldn't get the video out. But anyway, I had this in my little sneak peek, included with Alice and the White Rabbit, and it's Santa. Because it is Christmas time right now, so this was very fitting. And how does this have anything to do with any of it? Well, again, Santa is going down in a hole. He goes down the chimney. So it always is a representation of starting somewhere and then going down, descending down, going down in the hole to hell. And of course, Santa's always known for ho, ho, ho. Holmium is the most magnetic element on the entire periodic table. It has our DNA right in there because there's the 64. It's just a higher version of it. And holmium, when you do the numerology, it's a number 30, which is tied to this card in the medicine deck called the Rabbit. Excuse me. The Rabbit is card number 30, and in the beginning of this presentation, you saw the white rabbit that Alice chased after down the hole. And of course, holmium, 30, rabbits 30. Down the hole, Santa goes. And we're going to get more into that rabbit because it has everything to do with this presentation, folks. Santa Claus, number 30. The rabbit. Santa going down the chimney. The rabbit going down the hole. Alice chasing after the rabbit. And it's interesting because you can see how these names and titles, they start to connect, and then the story just gets much more clearer for all of us. Because here's the New Age name of the ancient Israelite God of the Bible. It's a direct match. And, Jesus was said to be from Nazareth. It was Jesus of Nazareth. What do you think Nazareth is? Jesus of Nazareth. That's where Jesus is from. That's what Nazareth means. It's right there. And it's tied to Santa Claus, which is why Christmas means Christmas. It's all the same construct, folks. Just linked to Saturn, Father Time, down in a hole. And here is Alice going down the hole and staring at the Holy Bible, because you'll notice that when you do the numerology of the word Bible and Alice, and you use all of these ciphers, which I normally don't do, but folks, obviously you can see how strong these two words have together, how strong they are together. 9 different ciphers, all directly having a match. So the story of the Bible is the story of Alice in Wonderland. All of it. We go down the hole, the rabbit, Alice chasing the rabbit, going down into duality. That's why the Holy Bible has the Old and New Testament, because it's black and white. It's fear and love. And that's what we're born into. We're born into fear and love. And so, Alice chases this rabbit down the hole into time. into the box, into duality. And these 9 numbers add up to the number 45, which is the element rhodium and tied to the box that we live in, which I went over in my Great Architect of the Universe. This is where we're all stuck in the 3-dimensional cube and we're stuck in duality. We all have it. All of us. And the clock ticks with these numbers. And this is Saturn's magic square, by the way, if you get into that kind of magic. Notice that the words down in a hole equal the number 49. And of course, it's a prime number of the number 227. 227 is the 49th prime number. 27 is currency. You see, folks, when you know how to read these numbers, 27 is tied to Jupiter. Jupiter equals 27, and the word current and currency equal the number 27. And what is 2? 2 is duality. So it's currency of duality. And if you want to kind of do it another method here, you divide 22 into 7, and you're going to get pi. So you can clearly see when you interpret it this way, that going down in the hole is linked to duality and pi. It's linked to this box that we're all stuck inside. The tetragrammaton, tetra meaning 4. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. North, south, east, and west. The 4 corners of the earth. And the compass fits right inside there, which is the yin-yang duality. Make no mistake about it. Even the 49, if you know what this is, 4 is the heart chakra, 9 is endings and completions, 4 is the cube, 4 squares. 9 means complete potential, all the numbers. So you can observe it that way. When you add up all these digits right here from what I divided right here of 22 divided by 7, look at what number you get, folks. 46, which is linked to, once again, the biblical expression from the original spelling of where the real story came from, the tree of life. And the biblical tree of life, which is found right here. And there it is. The original spelling of it. From the original story. And there it is, folks. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, folks. You just got to know how to interpret it. And clearly we go down into the tree of life and we get stuck inside the cube, which is duality. And it's right there. And that's why I feel like we get recycled. We get stuck in a time loop. How to get out of it? I don't know. Are we stuck in it? I don't know. I can't prove either one. Do we earn our stripes and to get out of it? I don't know. I can't prove that either. But I know man's being used for our energetic gold. I know that for sure. Going further, bringing in the elements of the periodic table down in a hole through numerology is a 49. That's tied to this element right here called indium. And what is indium? We go inward, inside, inward. And indium through numerology is a 21, and that's tied to this card right here in the tarot, the world card. The 21st card. And here is the hole, with the androgynous figure on the other side. And then the 4 faces, the 4 fixed signs in astrology. Ezekiel 1 verses 10 fits in there exactly. Saturn equals 21. So who runs the box? The cube that we're in. 114. 4. There's that 4 again, down in the hole, the box, 4. When you look at indium through the English numerology cipher, it becomes number 70, and that is tied to the yin-yang duality. Because when you go to the number 70 in the string of pi, you're going to see that it's found at the 96th decimal digit of pi. It starts there. And again, what is 96? It's yin yang. It's duality, folks. It's black and white. Down in the hole. Down in a hole. The word hole, it's down in what? The hole. We go through the hole into duality. Oh yeah, folks, that's how accurate this is. Telling you the story, the script. And that's why we have both of these. This is our makeup. You can't escape one without the other. You need both to navigate through this place of suffering. That may change, folks, but right now we're stuck down in this hole in duality. Now here's the band that sang the song. The original members, Jerry Cantrell, Lane Staley, Mr. Starr, the bassist, and Kinney, the drummer. And here are their birthdays. March 18th, August 22nd, April 4th. It's kind of interesting because he has the same birthday as Courtney Clark, the song that it was sung about, and then Sean Kinney at May 27th. And when you add up just the days, 18 plus 22 plus 4 plus 27, you're going to get the number 71. And, you know, for those of you that have been following along, you automatically know what that's linked to. And we already talked about the Lucifer and being tied to sulfur and going down into hell. That story. That's 71. And, you know, it's the 20th prime number. It's going down in a hole. Because the 71 is the 20th prime number. So again, their birthdays equal 71, and 71 is the 20th prime number, and 20 is tied to whole and duality. And this is the song that they're singing about, folks, off of this amazing album called Dirt. And then, folks, we're dirt. We're dirt. I mean, the story of creation is being made from the dust. That's what we end up going back to when we shed this physical body. When it no longer has electricity running through it, it dies. And when it dies, it becomes dust, dirt. And this album of where Down in the Hole came off of is called Dirt. I mean, folks, look at the syncs here. And you think man's doing this? Man can't ever script anything like this. No way. It's not possible. This is just one layer. I can get into their cards. I have too many slides. You should see their cards. They equal 109, which is the 29th prime number, which is linked to Yaldabaoth. And there it is. I mean, the hole is 20. Down in a hole is 20. The 20th element is calcium. What are our bones made up of, folks? Yeah, calcium. The majority of it is calcium. Let's not overlook this 39. Excuse me, that 39 is linked to the Christ. Directly linked to the Christ. Time travel, yttrium, 88, the Y, the snake's tongue, all the stories, they all connect direct to this. Even the band, Alice in Wonderland, Alice in Chains. When you go down into hell, you're put into chains. And you become this card right here. Because Alice in Chains is a 37. And it's this card right here. And the Jack Diamonds. It's the Jack in the Box card, folks. And if you're female, you'd be Jill. Jack and Jill. They both start with the letter J. But the stories from Alice going down into the box. The Jack in the Box. Here's the song and when it was released. I mean, are you kidding me? August 30th, 30, rabbit hole. Down in a hole, the rabbit hole. Folks, are you kidding me? Really? I mean, do you think the producer that was behind this knows about the medicine card? Maybe it does. Maybe he or she does. And said, I got to release this on August 30th because it has to be this rabbit card. But clearly, folks, that sounds kind of crazy for me to think that because of all these moving parts, besides just the release date of the song. As you can see, there's no way that a producer could ever, with the musicians, put out a song with all these dates and tie-ins to numerology and prime numbers. It's not possible, folks. You got to get that through your mind, that we are being used to play out a script. I could have gone so much further with this, with the studio it was recorded in, the timestamp. I mean, folks, look at rabbit is a 12. The word rabbit is a number 12 in numerology. And look at what, this is the 12th card, the hangman, going down in a hole through time. And that's why rabbits are linked to the black hat, the black hole, and magic, folks. So when we get into the actual story of Down in a Hole, the song, as I went over earlier, it was written by Jerry Cantrell, the guitarist, and he did sing backup in the song, and it was for his then girlfriend, Courtney Clark. This is the only photograph I could find. And folks, this is where I'm saying, how else can you explain this? Look at, folks, it's a direct match in numerology, the name of the song and who the song was sung about. How else can you explain this? Do you think man's doing this? Got to be out of your tree to think that. Folks, here is her. She was born on April 4th, 1971. Again, the band 71. April 4th is when she was born. That's all the information I could find. It's the 4 spades card. This song was released on August 30th. Here's the August 30th card. Now, I found that from right here. Here is the boilerplate chart for the cards. You have the months running across the top there, and then you have all the days, and your birthday card's going to be in here, and you should automatically know what that is. You probably do, following this great research. But it was released in August. Here's the row of August, and you go all the way down August 30th. Here it is. August 30th is the 9 hearts card. And then Courtney was born on April 4th. April 4th. Here it is, the 4 spades card. Folks, look at what these 2 cards link up to and create. 49. Matching her name, matching the freaking numerology of the song. And yeah, man's doing this. Man is completely in conscious control of creating all these layers so they can match up just like this. Do you know how insane I sound? And that's why it's so funny. I have all these haters out there saying I'm a fake and a fraud. And I'm not here to defend it, but I just think it's funny because they're watching my videos and I'm clearly showing, prove me wrong. For those of you that don't like my work, I want you to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I'm showing my support here. And I've been doing it. I have over 100 videos. You're either going to get this or you're not. If you don't want to accept it, that's totally fine. Again, as in the beginning of my videos, I'm saying these are my opinions and truths, and I leave it up to you to decide what you want to believe. But prove me wrong if you want to go and kind of lash out and say that I'm this and that and call me names and just be like a little kid, a little upset little boy or girl crying and whining because you didn't get your way. It's so funny. So again, here is Courtney Clark, April 4th, born in 1971. Again, remember the band was 71. And Cantrell, he has got a master number 66. And here's the timestamp of these two, just not using their years, just the days on the calendar, folks. Just the days on the calendar. And you'll notice it's 17 days in between. And that's linked to these 2 big words that I've been showing over and over. Go watch my video on The Truman Show. It's all about being used as goldfish. We are gold energy. And we're fish, as Pink Floyd said, we're 2 lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year. And if you really want to get technical with this, if you add 66 and 71, you're going to get the number 137, which is the 33rd prime number. Here are their two cards. Once again, Courtney's got the 4 spades. Jerry Cantrell has the 5 diamonds. 18th of March is the 5 diamonds. And when you add up 43 plus 31, you're going to get the number 74, which is illumination. The Wolfram. Now, Jerry Cantrell has an interesting card. Here's the guy who wrote the lyrics of Down in a Hole, and he's got the 5 diamonds as his birth card. Again, just so you know, here we go, March, and then we go on to 18th. There it is. Jerry Cantrell, the 5 diamonds card. And folks, it's the 31st card in the deck. 31st card in the deck. Here it is. 5 diamonds right there. It's card number 31. Like, if you want these graphics, send me an email and I'll send them to you. My email is decodeyourreality@gmail.com, and I'll send them to you. I got this one. I got my tarot card. I'll send them all to you. Just pay it forward. I don't want anything in return. If you find anything major, send me an email. Tell me what you found. But anyway, look at this, folks. What's pi? 3 point what? 3.1. 3 point, we know it as 3.14, but there it is. This is the card of pi. And this guy's writing about Down in a Hole, and I showed how big this is already. That we're down in pi, folks, in the cube. This guy was singing about it, worshiping it, paying tribute to it. Down in a hole. They performed the song live for the first time on October 5th at the Coca-Cola Starplex in Dallas. The Coca-Cola what? Starplex. That's a 31. That is pi, folks. Come on, what are the odds? Remember, the God of time, God and time are both 14. God is 14, time is 14. So you have the God of time and pi. And man, you think man's doing this? Man is not doing anything, folks. We're being used to play out the script. So the date, what about the date? So they performed the song live for the first time in front of a crowd in Dallas at the Coca-Cola Starplex. And it was on October 5th. October 5th, the October 5th card is this one right here. Here, let me just show you. So we go here, October, and we have October 5th. It's the 4 diamonds card. And the 4 diamonds card, folks, is card number what? 30. And what is 30? The rabbit. Going down the rabbit hole. So they sang Down in a Hole on a day that was linked to the 30th card in the deck, which is the rabbit card. But man's doing this, though. You know how insane that sounds, folks? We need to wake up and realize this is a script that we're all playing out. You can call it fake illusion. You can call it an illusion simulation. It doesn't matter. This is what's going on. This is the code that our world is written in. And we're just playing out our parts. So that's interesting because I did a decode on Jack in the Box Decoded. If you haven't seen that one, you should, because it was a large part of Man in the Box. And Allison Chain sang that song. And see, the founder of Jack in the Box, this guy right here, Robert Oscar Peterson, he founded this on February 21st, 1951. February 21st is also the 4 diamonds card, which is card number 30. Remember, man, Alice is 30, Rabbit's 30. They played this song for the first time on the same exact cards. Are you freaking kidding me? Not only did they sing Down in a Hole, but they sang a Man in the Box tied to Jack in the Box. And the guy, the founder is on a day of February 21st, which is the 4 diamonds card, the 30th card in the deck. 4 meaning square. The cube? Right there? Are you freaking kidding me? So we're all Jack stuck in the box, folks. And if you want to get technical, yeah, we all took the red pill. So should we take the red pill? I don't think so. So now we get into the last topic of this presentation, and that is the record company that delivered this album Dirt and this song to the world. It's Columbia Records. Columbia. Notice this symbology. There's the all-seeing eye. But folks, what's fascinating about Columbia is that there's also a big word in our world society on the world stage in the United States. It's called the District of what? Columbia. Remember the Columbia Space Shuttle? That Columbia is a big word. That's why Washington, D.C. is the District of Columbia, because Columbia is 27. And that's tied to this right here called currency. What do you think music is? Currency. Energetic currency. And remember that when you go to numerology again and you look up this word right here, folks, see it right there? Jupiter is 27. Currency. Who's collecting the gold? Columbia is the oldest surviving brand name in the recording sound business, period. It's the oldest one. Sony owns it now, but there is the bio of Columbia Records. And originally, when it first came out on January 15th, 1889, it was known as this company right there. Columbia Phonograph Company. And 107 is yet again a direct match to the word currency. Currency, folks. Music is currency. It's gold current. So people say, oh, they sold their souls. Well, yeah, technically. But it doesn't matter if you actually consciously sold your soul. If you're playing music, you're giving that energy to something. And it's not mankind that's going to be accepting it. And when you look at the founding date of Columbia Records, January 15th, the January 15th card is the Queen Diamonds card. And one way to observe this numerology I'm finding is doing it this way, because it's just the Q. It's the Q Diamonds. Q Diamonds. And that's a match of, once again, that rabbit card, the 30, going down the hole. And I mean, you know, Columbia, what do you think that is right there, folks? Yeah, sure, it's the all-seeing eye, but it's the whole, which is what a record has. A record is a representation of the whole. Down in a hole. Losing my soul. So folks, what is it that you saw during this presentation? I'd love to hear. Even you haters, man, bring it. What do you got? What do you got? Especially you haters, man. But folks, what did you see during this presentation? And if you're a hater and you made it this far, why are you watching this video? That's just kind of the irony in the whole thing. What did you see, folks? I'd love to hear what you saw during this presentation. All of you great decoders out there, what have you got? Because I know that I probably missed some things and some things I didn't add in or what have you, but what do you see during this presentation, or what did you see during this presentation? That's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality, and I thank each and every one of you for watching.